Take a stick out. Yeah. Yeah, he never
Josue, you let me know when we're ready to go for public speak out.
gonna move it, man. Yeah, he's unbelievable. 'Cause Josue's giving you the thumbs up.
Okay. Good evening. We'll call the public speak out portion of this school committee meeting to order. And first on is Paula Starnes, please. Ms. Starnes. Say again, Ms. Starnes.
Dr. Starnes is here.
The floor is yours, Dr. Starnes.
Yeah, and we'll put it down.
All right, so thank you for allowing me to speak. I have been wanting to share some things with you for a while. It's difficult to say what I'm about to say, but I'm just representing the students as a teacher for Springfield Public Schools. I made a complaint to the state, so I want to share with you what's continuing to go on. Black students do not like when teachers use the N-word or describe them as ignorant. The word N-I-G-G-E-R is not simply a slur or racial epithet. Its use must be stopped in Springfield Public Schools. This word carries a blatant disregard for Black people who have been characterized as 3/5 human. The word N-I-G-G-E-R reminds us of the despicable and deplorable conditions Blacks have lived in, whether in cargo ships to come to America, or the shanties on plantations, or the slum housing in many cities, even today. Blacks, both as slaves and free people, have been beaten, raped, lynched, and slaughtered at the whims of whites, some whites. Because Blacks were sold and traded, many of us cannot trace our lineage beyond our grandparents. Blacks are just as intelligent as whites, which is why I felt it was important to come back to try to talk to you, Mr. Sarno and Mr. Warwick, after waiting several months for this issue to be remedied. I had to go to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and they found this district guilty. But I figured after they found this district guilty that things would change, but it hasn't. I'm still getting reports that students are being described as the N-I-G-G-E-R. As a doctor of education, I can help in the matter. I want to be able to work together, as I've often said. I've asked Mr. Warwick to meet, he's never yet met. I've asked Mr. Sarno to meet, he's never yet met. It's been 3 years since I reported it, and we're still in the same situation. So I'm just asking for some, gosh.
Does that conclude your remarks, Dr. Starnes?
It looked like you all went out of focus. So, oh, there you are again. Okay. But it's really important that we address this for Black students. I really think that once we address these pointed issues, our students will read at a grade level. I often test our 12th grade students at Putnam, and they read at a kindergarten grade reading level. That's heinous. But some would say, well, parents should read more with their children. But I say to you that many who live in lower socioeconomic communities, they don't have the time, they don't have the education, which is why we teachers, we educators, we're the ones that can help them in school. So I'm almost, I would never beg, but I want to plead that we once and for all address this issue so that our students, our Black students, have a fighting chance. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Starnes. Khadija, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Ms. Pink. Please correct me.
Thank you for having me. It's okay. It's Candia. Thank you.
I apologize.
It's okay. Okay. The reason why I'm here is because of the bullying on the school bus. I have a major concern. These some particular ones that I personally know of. They have been reported
Every
in the.
Wednesday, 2 to 4.
I'm sorry. They've been
So
reported.
Charles, I was thinking, do you want to do a more
I'm sorry. There you go. It's okay, they muted. They have been reported in the beginning of the year, but then when it's time for action to be taken upon, it's around March or April. Lucky for me, my situation was handled by March, but at the same time another incident happened where we lost the person, and I have a major concern about that it leads up to that. I don't want anyone to be harmed. I want it to be addressed. And even though I know the schools, well, I don't know how they explain it to me. Forgive me for not remembering, but they're like two different entities. But for me, I believe that school, you are still on school property, even if you're on the school bus, until you are back to your guardian as a child, whoever is supposed to pick you up from that bus stop. That everybody should be held accountable if anything happened, any incidents happen. You know, reading in the newspaper that while it didn't happen in the school grounds is really heartbreaking when we should be as a village be concerned of the welfare of our children and those that are the caretakers. So I really would like to know what can be done, and I wouldn't mind being a part of any type of decisions when it comes down to helping us figure out how can we make. I don't know how. It's hard to stop bullying. I get that, but I don't even know how. I don't even know. My concern is just that I don't. I want it to really actually stop. But if we can figure out how to maintain it, it bothered me that my particular situation, it took forever reporting, going back, loss of tapes because the tapes were was looped at the end of the month. It was looped so nobody could see that the child was being bullied. And I don't want to know the parent of anybody's the bullying. I that's not my concern. My concern is to make sure that the children need to know how to get along with one another, how to stay in each other's in their own space. You know, learn those type of things. And the school should hold accountability of whatever happens on that school bus. They need to commit the school bus, and the schools need to communicate a little better than this. Basically, is what I wanted to say. I don't want to take too much of your time. I do appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Ms. Pink, for caring. Thank you very, very much. That concludes public speak out. We'll be in recess until 6:30. You're more than welcome to stay, and then we'll go into our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you very much, and see you shortly.
stuff I do. Every single
have to go back.
the next 3 weeks. And all over the place, all different places.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes it's
What I,
nice to have a car, but I don't really need
it falls off for me once, like, third week of May.
We're good to go.
Open enrollment season for health insurance is over.
Oh,
So
yeah.
then we
Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
present.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Ms. Gresham?
Here.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Present.
Mayor Sarno?
Present. May we all please rise for a moment of silence and then pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone, and it is so good to have people back in the chambers. And with the indulgence of the school committee, we are going to call the Teachers of Excellence Award winners, the Grinspoon and Pioneer Valley Excellence Teaching Awards first. We're also joined by the new student representative from Central High School. I believe Charles Cope was the last of the triple crown of Central High School representing us at the school committee. So with that, we're just going to go, we'll just get the approval of the minutes out of the way. Approval of the minutes. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Naylor. Is there a second?
Second. Oh.
Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. Now, again, with the indulgence of the school committee, we're going to go out of order for the agenda, out of respect to our teachers that are here, award-winning teachers. And we're going to recognize the 2023 Pioneer Valley Excellence in Teaching Award winners. And again, we appreciate the Grinspoon Foundation Herald. They do a tremendous job, and it's great to acknowledge our teachers. They will be accompanied by their principals. And Superintendent Warwick, I don't know if you want to say anything prior to this before we name them. And I know school committee members are going to want to say something.
I would, Mayor. I just want to recognize our finest teachers that have been recognized by their colleagues for doing outstanding work. And I always say our teachers are second to none anywhere. And when I go around to buildings, I go into all the classrooms, it's incredible what our teachers do day in and day out. And during the pandemic, folks really went above and beyond the call, and I think they were the glue that held this city together and moved everything forward with the incredible work they did with our kids. So these are our finest teachers here with us today, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for what you do for our kids day in and day out.
I'd like to open it up to my school committee colleagues, so we'll say something first, and then we can have the grand parade down the thoroughfare here. So I'll turn it over to school committee members. If you have any comments, you'd like Mr. Collins?
I just want to echo the superintendent's comments about our teachers. Our teachers stack up against anybody in the Commonwealth, and for that matter, the United States. You deal with the most students with the most challenging situations, and the performance and the love that you show those students and the way they grow is nothing but astounding. And we have to commend you for your dedication to the children of Springfield.
Any other school committee members?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Ms. Gresham?
Thank you. I want to echo what Mr. Collins said, that if we didn't have the teachers that we have with the compassion and the love they have for our students, I don't know where we would be, because we look to them every day for all that they do and the hours that they put in for our students. So we just appreciate you and thank you for all that you do.
Attorney Murphy?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to echo my colleagues on the school committee and just say thank you for all that you do. And professionally, I think, we all respect and appreciate the work that you do for our young people pretty much every day. I mean, they say that teachers work 180 days a year, but it's really a full-time job, and it's something that you love to do. And on a more personal note, all of my children went to the Springfield Public Schools, and they had great instruction from people like you. And my oldest is a Springfield police officer. My middle two, one goes to Holy Cross, one goes to Boston University, and then I have one going to hopefully, God willing, to Putnam next year. And I am just incredibly grateful on a personal level for the instruction that you have given to my children. They would not have accomplished what they did without people like you. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy. Any other school committee members?
Yes, I would
Vice
like
Chair
to
Naylor?
also echo the sentiments of my colleagues that we just really appreciate everything that you do. Like Mr. Murphy, Attorney Murphy, my children are students in Springfield Public Schools as well. And I believe in our district, and I believe in it because of staff like you and educators like you. Last year, I was talking to a group of teachers, and I was talking about how real teachers, educators who teach with excellence don't just teach to the book or to the curriculum, but you listen with love and you teach with love, and you're able to change the trajectory of these students' lives because you are looking at more than a number or data. You're looking at a person. And so thank you for doing that for our children, and please continue to do what you do, and we'll continue to be rooting for you on the sidelines. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to say to everyone here in the chambers and also on Zoom that teachers really do a lot of the real work in our school district. And really big thank you to all of you. God bless each and every one of you. All of you have a certain level of the impact in the lives of each and every one of our students. As a graduate of Springfield Public Schools, I will say that many teachers had an impact in my life. So continue to do what all of you are doing. God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'd just like to say that teachers inspire, and I know firsthand because my youngest, Kiara, Miss Quinn was the first grade teacher at Frederick Harris, and Kiara had said, I want to be a teacher when I grow up, and now she is a teacher, special ed, and back at the school that she went to also, and I tell her that's important to tell the young students about that too, that, you sat there where they're sitting right now, that they can and will achieve. So that's what teachers do. Yeah, I mean, you inspire, and you might not get that compliment or accolade right away, but then that student runs into you 5, 10, 15 years down the road and said, you remember me? Because of what you did, I'm doing very, very well now. So we deeply appreciate it. People many times will say in an urban center that it's impossible to teach. It is not so. Is it challenging? Yes. And these are award-winning teachers here that go above and beyond in all different grades, and being there at times to help them learn, but also being in there times to help nurture them, and many times put your arm around their shoulder saying, hey, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And so when you think of teachers, the word that comes to mind is that you inspire on that. So with that, we will stop and have the grand parade down here to honor our teachers. So first on the hit list, the good hit list. We have, and I see Principal Kate Fancy is here, Kelly Flayhive. Come on down.
Congratulations.
He's in the house,
Chair
Mr.
won't
Central.
come over no more, right?
Tad Tokar,
She hit that chair.
Alec Archambault. Archambault.
Congratulations. Oops. Hold on to that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Joshua,
Maybe
we're
Tad
gonna
can-
walk down
can push
solo. Principal Tokar is going to say you're from Central High School, Joshua McGowan.
Joshua, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hi, Dad. How are you?
Wow, we have a triple threat here. I see Principal Mike Calvanese is here for Duggan Academy. Garth Baref, if I want to make sure I pronounce that correctly? Barif, come on down. Oh, April Robinson, Vice Principal April Robinson.
Garth, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. And now I think Principal Mike Calvanese is going to bring Margaret Blaze down. Lynch program, 9th and 10th grade.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Vanny Gomez, come on down. So bring her down. Jayhawks in the house. I love that, the Jayhawks in the house. Elias Brookings School's in the house. That means Principal Terry Poe is going to bring down Sarah Hulk down here. If I pronounce it correctly? Sarah Hulk? Halleck. Okay, come on down. I want to make sure you're there. Yeah, Halleck. Congratulations. It's for you too.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. Is your Chris here? Is Chris Alec here now? No?
Principal Escribano is here, and she's going to bring down Jacqueline DeCosmo. Come on down. Congratulations. Oh, that's nice. Mr. Cosmo, congratulations to you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna call her name off, yeah. She's not here, but this is very, very important. She's the new teacher award. Monica Kozlowski, and she's from Homer Street School. I know Kathy is very, very proud of her. Kathy Roberts, the principal on it. So let's give a big round of applause. And then, put that one to the side. Kylie Prep is in the house, so that'll either be Julia St. Laurent or Mike Calvanese. And we have the winner, Brianna Rivers. Come on down. Kylie Prep Middle. Oh. This is like the Oscars, accepting on behalf. I love it. I love it. Thank you. I like that. Oh, that's for you too. Yeah, better than the, that's right, it is better than the Oscar Superintendent Award. You're absolutely right. Kylie Prep Middle School, my old junior high, and Phoebe Alsop. Come on down.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, thank you.
Principal McCann is in the house. Of course, this is Lincoln Elementary School, and we have Rachel Riley. Come on down. Tell that little one I said hello again, okay? Yeah, you're right. You can probably help me. I know he can help me out. Yeah.
Congratulations. So did you guys like coordinate your outfits or?
Milton Bradley and I had such a great time reading to the kids there. Principal Kristen Hughes is here, and we have Desiree Eckel. Eichel, come on down. Yeah, Miss Eichel, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Congratulations, Michael, loud and proud, obviously.
I don't know if Principal Aria Colburn is here, Renaissance, but we have Melissa Rosenberg. Come on down.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, and thank you.
Guess who's up next? Allison Stoddard. Come on down. Renaissance. And they get a nice little stipend. That's fantastic. Thank you. Putnam Vocational Technical Academy. I don't know if George Johnson's here. We're going to be speaking about them, another award-winning school. But Leonora Anderson, come on down. whispering again. Okay. Springfield Conservatory of the Arts, I see Mr. Soccer, Principal Ryan Kelly is there, and we have Mindy Rosengarten. Come on down. Congratulations. Hey, they all have great handshakes. I'm staying on backhand. I'll tell you anything. Fantastic.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And another award-winning principal, Kevin Laleem's here, done a great job with the High School of Science Technology. Dr. Dana Groenbeck, come on out.
Fortunately, you can make it tonight, so I'm here to accept it.
Accepting on behalf of Dr.
First time I've been associated this close to a doctor.
Enjoy your day of being a doctor.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna put you. Van Sickle Academy's in the house. There's Principal Bobby Francesca. I see his parents, 4 o'clock Mass Mount Carmel every Saturday. Paisley Croc? Croc, that's what I thought. I know. Paisley Croc. Congratulations. We debated that. I think it is. Thank you for Bobby said, thank you very much. Unfortunately, you took my advice. Yeah, that's
Hey, Mayor, his parents may go to Mount Carmel, but he's a Sacred Heart guy.
okay. We're old school, Bobby. You're still at Mount Carmel. Thank you, Ms. Croc, and congratulations on that. Walsh School's in the house. Principal Vinnie Regan, if he's here. Carrie Cezanne, come on now. What happens when I have to make cheaters now? Congratulations. Thank you very much. I think the last one, yeah, is
Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
that's my old alma mater here coming up now, White Street School, and Siobhan Collins is doing a great job. And the award winner is, dun 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 dun, Kathy Chamberlain. Kathy, you got a cheering section, all right. This is for you. No, thank you. Thank you. I think that's it.
That's the answer match.
Yeah.
One of the many.
Thank you, Ms. Asher. Thank you, by the way. Now, I just want to clarify that there's a award, the lovely dinner at the log cabin that takes place, and also there's a stipend, a financial award also that goes.
That comes from the Grinspoon Foundation.
Harold Grinspoon Foundation, and that's well deserved, well deserved. So
absolutely.
congratulations to all our teachers.
Special thank you to Julie Jaron and Kate Asher for all their work.
Julie Jaron, yes, thank you. To Ms. Jaron and Ms. Asher, thank you. Thank you to the school committee for taking them out of order and going first. Okay, we're going to go back to the regular agenda, and Section 3 is voting items. And A is to approve in-person meetings available to the public. And again, it was so great to have people back in here. I know we're doing hybrid, trying to be as accessible as possible. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so appreciate, I talked to Vice Chair, and we talked about taking these dividers down for tonight. It was so much better with them down. But she also talked about opening the meetings up more, which I thought was a great idea. So I'm going to turn it over to the Vice Chair.
Vice Chair Naylor, please.
Absolutely. We just feel like it's time for us to have people. It's just great to have the fellowship and the excitement in the room once again, and being able to, not just for our sakes, but just to mirror the other bodies in the city that are doing the same thing, giving folks the opportunity to be in person. So that is why I proposed it, and I'm really happy that the superintendent agrees, and I believe a lot of my colleagues agree as well. So I'd love for us to continue this conversation before we take a vote.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Any questions or comments? Okay, well, that was okay. Okay. Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms.
We're back
Hurst?
in the house again.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. So matter passes. Thank you very much. B is to approve an MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, with the Springfield Administrators Association, the MTA, NEA. Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, Mayor. This agreement is the last of our 13 agreements. All of our unions have settled, so it's nice to be able to settle all those contracts and have labor harmony in the city. So I want to thank Sean Sweeney and the folks from the MTA for getting this done. Again, we talked about it in an executive session. I'm recommending approval.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. If there's any questions or comments?
I would like to make a comment.
Ms. Naylor?
I just want to really commend our staff, especially the leadership of Superintendent Warwick and Pat Roach and just all the folks that work with you, and making sure that we are addressing the gaps that folks are seeing out there in the education field as we try to continue to hold on to people that are competent and qualified, but also want to recruit more people. And so by us remaining competitive and doing these types of things, it keeps us ahead of the curve. So I'm really happy that we were able to do this on tonight.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. That's absolutely correct, because as of right now, there is labor harmony and peace. All the labor contracts have been settled in a fair and appropriate manner for the educators and for the taxpayers. So to Superintendent Warwick, Attorney Sweeney, the whole team, and very happy about that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor? Motion by Attorney Murphy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. We will now move to C. This is to approve an expenditure for $185,000 from the Henry P. Kendall Foundation. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Pat Roach is here to give us some background information on it. So Pat, if you could come on. And it's been through Budget and Finance, chaired by Chris Collins.
Yes, thank you. So this grant's for $185,000, and it's from the Kendall Foundation. And the Kendall Foundation has been a really strong partner of ours. This has to be the 5th or 6th grant we've received from them. And this specific grant is for us to develop a local made pizza. So we're partnering with a company, One Mighty Mill, out of Lynn, Massachusetts. And the goal is to, and they mill their own wheat, and they get their wheat from up in Maine. And so we're trying to develop the pizza crust with them and use local tomatoes and improve the pizza quality and what we're serving in our schools. So it's a really exciting thing. We're coming up with an innovative product for them. Hopefully being able to provide a better product to our students. And the reason the Kendall Foundation is sponsoring it is they want us to, do the R&D and develop this pizza, and then there'll be, this company would be able to sell it to school districts all across the state as well. But we're doing a test pilot here in Springfield.
Thank you, Mr. Roach.
And
Thanks,
this is
Pat.
one of a series of grants we've had from the Kendall Foundation, so they've been very supportive of the program and have given Pat several of the grants. It's been through Budget and Finance. I don't know if Mr. Collins wanted
Mr.
to-
Collins?
It got unanimous support in Budget and Finance, and I don't know if everybody could hear with all the exuberance in the hallway, but we're moving down into middle school, which is a terrific thing, because that's when kids really, you need to start talking to them about their future and helping to guide them on the path. So it did get unanimous support.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second? Second by Mr. Gonzalez. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, board is sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. D is to approve an expenditure of $40,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary Secondary Education FY 2023 Middle School Career Connected Learning Partnership Grant. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Pat Roach if he can speak to this. Yolanda Johnson actually worked on it, but she's away at this time. So Pat, if you can speak to it. And again, it's been through the Budget and Finance Committee with Chris Collins.
And thank you, Dr. Johnson, too. Thank you, Yolanda. Mr. Roach, please.
So this grant is for a design team to develop a middle school career connected learning program for a tier 1 readiness school counseling curriculum. And it's going to align students' career interests with their aptitude, help them develop work readiness skills, and provide opportunities for them to try on careers. And, it's a really exciting grant for us that Dr. Johnson was able to apply for and receive.
Thank you again, Mr. Roach, and thank you to Dr. Johnson, Yolanda, also for your efforts. Any questions or comments? I know it went through
It
Finance.
got unanimous
Mr.
support, and it's very timely.
The more, you're absolutely right, Mr. Collins, the more you can grab the kids in middle school, that's the challenging time there to keep them hooked, so.
And I would like to add just one other thing
Naylor?
too. This is
Vice Chair
it's a matching grant, and so we have buy-in. It's not that we're just getting a grant and we're doing this. We absolutely are committed to this, and to Mr. Collins' point earlier, we need to get down into the middle schools and not wait until the students are in high school to start having these conversations around career pathing. So it's really exciting of an opportunity, and we look forward to the success.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, board is sufficient votes, matter passes. Thank you very much. E is to approve an expenditure of $100,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education FY 2023 Adult Education Services Capacity Building Grant. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to have Rhonda Jacobs, the principal of our alternative schools, speak to this. She worked on it with Yolanda Johnson, and this is a new, another exciting program in our alternative services area that are going to meet the needs of kids and sometimes older learners. So just want to have Rhonda speak to it.
Sure. Principal Jacobs?
Good afternoon, Superintendent, Mayor, School Committee. Principal Jacobs, I'm going to pinch it for her. She's actually at the Springfield Success Academy this evening, working with the students. So I'm just going to take a quick couple of minutes to pinch it if that's okay.
Thank you, Kim Wells.
So this $100,000 grant is for advertising and professional development for our teachers and our educators who are running and working in the Springfield Success Academy, which is our program, our night school program that's running at the alternative site for young adults ages 18 up to 25, but even higher if we need to go there, serving a variety of students who have either disengaged or unenrolled from school, but we're looking at this as a community effort to continue to provide adult diploma programs to our young people. And we're really excited about this opportunity. Both Dr. Johnson and Principal Jacobs have worked on this grant opportunity for the planning, the professional development, and the advertising piece. They've worked closely with Azel Kavan on the advertising, and we've actually got great interest and desire to attend this program with our young adults. And the goal is to continue to apply for and receive grant money to continue this program next year to serve up to as many as 100 young adults and continuing to really change sort of the outlook of some, some outcomes in their life. So we're really excited about that. And this $100,000 grant opportunity will help support the onset and the start of this program.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you, Kim. Any questions or comments?
It did go through the Finance Committee and got unanimous support, and it just shows the philosophy of the department and this committee that we don't give up on people, that we'll keep going and keep trying to get people what they need. And thank you for going for the grant, ladies. Can I use that term?
It's meant in a respectful manner. Fine.
But thank you for pursuing this grant. It's really great for the people of Springfield.
As Mr. Collins indicated too, about we don't let anybody fall through the crack and not giving up on these students. And I want to thank Dr. Johnson, Yolanda, and Principal Jacobs, Rhonda, AKA the hoopster I call her, and Azelle. Thank you very, very much, because it shows, and it shows with all the alternative programs we have that you're going to get every and all opportunities to succeed and think out of the box, So that's great. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Naylor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Attorney Murphy. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, support and sufficient votes, the matter passes. Thank you. F is to approve an expenditure of $100,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, FY 2023 Early Literacy Universal Screening Assessment K through 3 grant. Superintendent Ward,
Thank
please.
you, Mayor. This grant is going to help us come into compliance with the new requirement relative to early literacy screening. And Laura Menz and Stefania Rishilla are here if anyone has to give us an overview.
Yeah. Ms. Menz, Ms. Rishilla, Laura.
Mayor, I'm
Stefania?
going to hand it over to Laura to speak on behalf of this grant.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Warwick, and
Hi,
school
Laura.
committee members. Nice to see you all this evening. We're excited about this grant. We received the maximum award of $100,000, and it is going to help us, as Superintendent Warwick just stated, be in compliance with a new regulation that's coming out that's requiring us to screen all K-3 students twice a year with this early literacy screener. And the results of this screener, the data, the information we get will help us to provide better teaching for students in reading and to identify potential risk for reading difficulties down the road. We'll be using the funds to do some initial trainings and obtain the materials needed to get started. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you, Laura.
Menz. Thank you, Laura. You know, I just wanted to mention too, Laura was great at Harris School too, both my daughters there too, and thank you, Stefania, on that. This obviously went through, Mr. Collins.
It did go through Budget and Finance, and this is a wonderful grant. Nothing's more important in those first few years of school for children to get a well-established path to reading, and this goes a long way to help that.
Any other questions or comments? And it highlights, we just passed that prior grant saying, hey, we're not going to let you go. We're going to catch you and make sure that you can move forward positive. And we've always said that the more you can do on the beginning, the early end, the more dividends it's going to pay. So this is fantastic. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you. G is to approve an appropriation from carryover and other surplus funds, which we do yearly, in the amount of $10,246,838 and $1.56. To fund the investments on the attached list, Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. You have a piece in your packet on this, and Patrick Roach will walk you through it.
Mr. Roach, Pat?
Yes, thank you. So this vote is to approve the $10,246,838.56 for the carryover projects. We went through all the different investments in the subcommittee, and I'm happy to answer any questions or proceed however the committee would like me to.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. Any questions or comments? I know this went through Finance, Mr. Collins.
It did, Mayor. And just for the public,
If we can explain, yeah.
sometimes people think that we get the mistaken impression there's this unyielding pot of money, and then they see us come up with a vote like this on $10 million, and our budget is well over $500 million, and no matter how hard you plan, you can't always spend everything on time, and so when you get towards the end of the budget, you have some monies that couldn't be expended. We don't let them sit there. We take them and repurpose them to needs that we need. So that's why there's this amount of money there. That trying to get everything through in a $500 million budget completely on time. This is very low when you consider it, because I remember when our budgets were smaller and we'd have over $20 million in carryover funds.
And Superintendent Warwick's style has always been pump it back right into the classrooms, frontline stuff. So any other questions or comments? Mr. Gonzalez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Roach, could you please clarify a couple of things for me?
Absolutely.
So the $10 million is going to be expended by the close of FY23 or carried over into FY24?
Correct. Well,
I'm sorry.
We're gonna commit it all by the end of FY23, although some of the expenses might not happen until
Paid until
FY20.
24, yeah.
Okay, but this is the total amount that's in surplus right now.
The total amount that's in surplus right now is $11,021,713.
Okay, and have we made any considerations? I know that we've had subcommittee meetings in regards to some improvements as it relates to safety and communication. This hasn't gone through finance. I just want to make sure that there's going to be some wiggle room if that were to take place.
So we did discuss in subcommittee, there's about $775,000 will be left in this account. And I know there's some priorities of the committee that aren't on this list because we still need to discuss them further. And so there is absolutely wiggle room for the communications that you're mentioning.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Roach, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to make a comment. Yesterday, when we discussed this, one of the points that I wanted to highlight, because I say we because that's the way I talk, but I have received a lot of inquiries from folks in the community asking about us investing more into books that are written by Latino or Black authors. And I really wanted to highlight one of the things that is on this list here is that we are going to be purchasing some books for our libraries, not just our curriculum. And so that was very important to folks who wanted to make sure that students not only had access to information in their curriculum, but also outside of it, that they were able to access books in the libraries and things like that. And I thought that was a really wise decision, but also a very culturally responsive decision. So I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that and let folks know that we are hearing you and we are moving forward with some of those items.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor.
Just to follow up.
Mr. Collins, yeah.
Absolutely, and there's been many years where we didn't have the kind of money that we could put into library books, and so not only have we put some into books, we put this extra, and I would encourage us to do this again next year if the funds allow. We've got a lot of catch-up to do for years where we didn't have money.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Guy ran into Orlando Worthy after the Central, and they have the books on President Obama and First Lady Obama on it. So again, diversification, and it's always good to know the history and learn from history too. So any other questions or comments?
through Budget and Finance Subcommittee. And
Yeah. Good.
Yep, it was unanimous to the budget. I would be glad to make the motion at this time.
Motion by Mr. Collins, is there a second by Mr. Gonzalez. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you. Informational items, section 4, and again, we have an award-winning Putnam Vocational, Roger L. Putnam Vocational Technical Academy. Best practices update. I'm glad we're doing it. We couldn't do it a few meetings ago because of technical difficulties, but when we had the Chapter 74 meeting, how impressive Principal George Johnson, and I'm going to call him Mr. Putnam now, and his staff put together, that they exceeded, even during COVID, I really smashed all the state marks there at Putnam. So we wanted to share that information. And these are kids, students, he or she, that are doing half-time academia and half-time hands-on vocational technical, and just outstanding what they've done there. But Superintendent Warwick?
Well, thank you, Mayor. You're so right. The results at Putnam are absolutely incredible, and later I'm going to walk you through a little piece talking about the Gould Award, and Putnam won the Gould Award from AIM, the business community, because of their outstanding work along with Worcester Voc. But it really speaks to the outstanding improvements and turnaround at Putnam Vocational Technical High School. And George Johnson's just done a tremendous job there. When you look at the results, and George doesn't always talk about himself or the school, but the results speak for themselves. The scaled score last year went up and went to 497.5, went down in most other schools in the Commonwealth. The student growth percentile in ELA went up to 54%, a gain of 6.5, so just incredible results. Math, 490.5, again, as other schools were struggling. SGP up to 43.8%. And the CPI in science, 59.2. Again, and as most schools were recovering from the pandemic, there were losses going on in academic achievement. During this recovery, George led this improvement, hence the award for this tremendous turnaround. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to George Johnson and his team at Putnam.
Principal Johnson, and sing the praises of much deserved that you should. And this AIM Award really is a business, derives from a business-oriented award. So you know the standards they put across. So Principal Johnson and team, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Sarno and Superintendent Warwick. Like Superintendent Warwick stated, Putnam, during the pandemic, we were able to sustain our academic achievement and our test scores by utilizing several best practices. Myself and Assistant Principal Rashilla is on Zoom. She's going to start to take over. We can share her screen so she can talk about some of the things that we've done at Putnam, and I can finish up.
Say hi to your mom, Tommy, too, okay, George?
I definitely will, Mayor. I'll let her know.
Okay. He's very, doesn't like, he does a great job.
Good evening, everyone. Is it all right if I start?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Our best practices presentation includes what Putnam does as a whole school, best practices in content areas, and then the results of our best practices. And we begin our school year setting high and clear expectations during our August PD week. When planning our week, we look at the following things: district priorities, SEEDS goals, our school improvement plan, portrait of a graduate, and data analysis. All of these connect in some way and build the foundation for the rest of the year and the rest of our PD days. Our best practices as a school include extra supports for students, data analysis, and a schedule that offers several opportunities for educators to meet with each other and to discuss students' curriculum and data. So we have after school interventions like boot camp, Saturday school, attendance buyback, in school interventions we have the math and ELA enrichment in grades 9 and 10, our Read 180 program and ESOL classes. We have professional learning communities for science, math, and ELA in grades 10 and 11. We also have built-in common planning time. We have team time for our 9th grade interdisciplinary, department meetings, our instructional leadership team. We've tried to increase the amount of members so that we're including all different parts of the building, so everyone has a voice. We do learning walks. We try to do school climate surveys and the data analysis using district unit assessments, ANET, MCAS, and interventions. And then our best practices and content. We have many best practices in the different content areas that have led to our success here at Putnam. In ELA, we've adopted many high interest, diverse texts as we want to provide mirrors and windows for our students. We follow the unit planning guides through the district, and we also have a partnership with ANET, the Achievement Network, which allows us to be able to look at formative assessment data and also focus on fluency practices. In math, there's been a focus on conceptual with using the Agile Mind software. And we've connected with the new generation by allowing students to experience math through virtual reality. We also have ANET partnership in math, and this allows for an increased level of data analysis. In science, we're moving toward a much more inquiry-based approach, and we will be using new curriculum next year that puts the students' hypotheses and ideas at the forefront. Social studies has been moving toward an increased focus on civics and participating in the state civics project. And lastly, our vocational team has found incredible success on a state and national level in the Skills USA program. And each shop has its own software that students use and gain proficiency.
So based on what Sister mentioned in her last couple of slides, our results from things that we've done are, we're bridging the gap between academic and vocational education at our school. That was our main goal, to try to combine this together, because I didn't want two separate schools in one. We're one family at Putnam. So because of that, we were able to bridge the gap between both vocational and academic. And our Skills USA team won 34 medals in the district. And they're now competing today, actually left this afternoon. They're competing this weekend in Marlboro, Mass in the States. So if they win the States, they go to the Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. So I hope our team does well. We had, on the first go around, we had like 13 gold medal winners, 10 silver, and I think we had like about nine bronze. So I wish my Skills USA team good luck in Marlboro this weekend. We also improved in our data, as Superintendent Warwick stated earlier. And our graduation rate has been maintained in the high 90s throughout the 9 years that I've been at Putnam. So this year we're at 95.7 with a 1% dropout rate. So we've been consistent in our 95, 96% graduation range every year. As Superintendent Warwick stated before, back in 2019, we were at 492.7. And last year we were at 497.6. In math, we were able to go up from 488 to 490. And in science, it went from the legacy to the new test that we have now, but we did show some growth. ELA went from 36.8 back in 2019 to 54.2 in 2022. And the math went from 34.2 to 42.9 in 2022.
And again, I just want to highlight, this is during the height of the pandemic. Yes. Just tremendous achievements, Principal Johnson, you and your team. Sorry for the interruption.
No, thank you very much, Mayor Sarno. But it's a testament to the hard work that the students and staff and administration of Putnam, has put in over the past, couple of, years. We just have a routine that we have in place, and we try to critique it every year to figure out what's working and what's not working, and go back to the drawing board and try to add to it. So, like I said yesterday in our interview with 22 News, that for the Gould Award, that we're just basically scratching the surface. We haven't reached where we need to be yet, and we'll continue to push towards the top. And it's nice of that to be recognized for our hard work at Putnam for the last decade. It really is. It's a good feeling for our kids and our staff, and it just gives a nice excuse me, it's a nice atmosphere to have them, in our school, with the kids feeling good about themselves and their academic achievements and vocational achievements as well. So just want to make sure I point that out. And I thank Ms. Priscilla for her work, because she's my academic AP and she's in charge of my professional development. We make sure that our staff is able to get the resources they need to be effective for our students, and that we're always ready to rock and roll at our school. So as Mayor Sano said, you come in our school's already ready to go when you come in, and it's clean and inviting. Ready to.
I was just going to say that. Anytime I come to your home, your Putnam, it is immaculate, no matter what time I'm in there. Yes. In the morning, afternoon, evening, if I'm there for events or we're holding events there. And it is spotless. That's a testament not only to the maintenance team you have in there, but it's a testament to the students, how well respected it is there. And the students are just so respectful, so welcoming. And that, when you enter into that grand thoroughfare, when you walk in and and then the staircases there. But I'm not exaggerating. I think all school committee members will say, you go into Putnam, it's immaculate. It's immaculate. And very proud. George, I know I was telling Vice Chair Naylor, you don't like to toot your horn a lot, but you should, you and your team. Because when there's good news, we need to shout from the mountains, because many times the press or the media, some entities will just always put out the negativity. So we need to scream and yell and shout from the top of the mountains, make that clarion call that, and again, as I call Tad Tokars, Mr. Central, you are Mr. Putnam. And with that, I'll conclude.
Thank you.
I'm sure that school committee members have comments if the presentation is done.
Yes, we're done now.
Okay. See, I'm giving you time to say more, George, and you still pass on it. Attorney Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. Principal Johnson, I just want to thank you, and your team for all the great work that you do at Putnam. And, Putnam's always been a good school, but you've taken it to another level. And as we talked about at the Chapter 74 meeting, when my son, who's in 8th grade, was talking about a high school, he wanted to go to Putnam. And I think, on a personal level, that shows me that you guys are doing a great job, and you have tremendous leadership, and that now Putnam is like the place to go. Everybody wants to go to Putnam, and so I'm incredibly grateful. And I also, I admire the job that you're doing and your team is doing, and the improvement in the test scores, and I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Attorney Murphy.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say, Principal Johnson, every time I tell the superintendent, I get calls and people say, I'm upset I didn't get into Putnam. And I'm like, what are they putting in the water in that school that everybody wants to go to Putnam? So it's a testament to your leadership, the faculty and staff in that building. There must be something in the Kool-Aid, as some would say. So congratulations on all the hard work, and keep it up, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
I know you're going to say something. I know Vice Chair Naylor has something to say.
I do have something to say. First, you should have showed that video that my daughter was in. No.
That was a good video. Great
That was a very good video that we saw at the presentation a couple months ago. But Principal Johnson, I really am just so appreciative of everything that you do at the school, and your leadership and your humility does not go unnoticed. As Mayor Sarno said, I definitely have a lot to say because my children are all at Putnam or going to Putnam. My baby girl just got her notice that she'll be at Putnam next year, so she's excited about hopefully getting into culinary and things like that. But you keep the young people busy, the sports, all the things that they have going on there, and my children have been really happy to be there. They love the culture, they love most of the staff. Students have their favorites, but there's some staff that you have there that are just excellent, that really care about the kids, that really care about their well-being. And my children have felt that, especially one of them who went through a very tough time, and one of your administrators was there for her right when she needed it at that moment. And that means a lot to a parent, but just in general, it just means a lot to know that you have folks there that care about our kids. And so keep doing what you're doing. And I agree, you need to talk a little bit more about all of your accomplishments, because you have a lot of them, and the challenges of our students being there, having to deal with the academia as well as the vocational, and be successful and still go to college, because many of them will go to college and have their certifications under their belt to work while they're in college and things like that. And that's just phenomenal. So I can keep going, but I will be quiet. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. And I have to say, too, Principal Johnson, use that key word, family, our familia, and that is huge. And we are now hiring, we took on a number of interns from Putnam Vocational Technical Academy, and now some of them have been hired in DPW for their background, and in our fire department, too. And when I say that, that's mechanics and engineering type stuff that's going on in DPW and with the fire department. And we're also putting conduits through Superintendent Ward. Sci-Tech, we're doing IT interns and looking to hire there, so we can show them that there's a pathway with all the schools that you could come in right in here in the City Hall or with the City of Springfield. So any other questions or comments? Ms. Gresham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Principal Johnson, I echo what my colleagues have said, and I thank you for your leadership and all the good work that you and your team are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments?
Sure.
Mr.
George, were you going to say something, or?
He wants
No.
he's looking to get off as quick as possible. We're going to keep you on, George.
That's
Mr.
exactly,
Collins.
That's exactly my
he wants to
point.
get off.
George is a man who would
very
prefer
humble.
not to have his face showing on the screen as it is right now.
Very humble.
And not have to stand in front of us. He is full of humility. He is. There's another person watching this show tonight. My classmate, his mother. We graduated from Tech together. And I'm sure she could be more proud that she raised a son who does have humility, a son who never fails to acknowledge the people around him and the efforts that they put in.
Always does.
And above all, a son whose actions speak much louder than his words. Congratulations, George. We're proud of you, just like your mother.
Well put, Mr. Collins.
Thank you very much.
George, you're blushing. You're blushing, George. Any other questions or comments? Okay, George, you're off the hook. Great work. You're off the hook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of continued great work going on in Homer Street School best practices, Kathy Roberts, she's so dedicated and caring, and her team, and pretty soon you'll be in the new school, the Barry Swan School, which is, boy, I go by it all. I know Barbara's there all the time. I go by it twice a week to check on it, and we're ready to roll there. So let me turn it first over to Superintendent Warwick, and he'll do the intro.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that when you think of Homer Street School, this is an illustration that there's more to a school than bricks and mortar. We're talking about a building built in 1898 without a lot of the amenities, but Kathy's led an amazing turnaround academically at the school, but also culture-wise, incredible. She really has built a cohesive team, and they really care about the kids. And you go there, you feel it, but you also then see the wonderful academic results. So just a few of the results. Again, scaled score gains in ELA when the rest of the state went down. The SGP went up 28.9 points in ELA to 56.4. Absolutely incredible. Math, again, 490.5 for scaled score, up 10 points. SGP, up 28.9 points, up to 61. Absolutely incredible. The science, 487.5, again, a gain in science. And these gains again occurred as most other schools in the Commonwealth were going down during the pandemic. So absolutely incredible work by Kathy and her team, and excited about the change and moving over to the Swan School, but doing a great job for our kids in a building that needs a lot of love. So I want to turn it over to Kathy and her team. They've done a great job.
And Principal Roberts, you know that your mom, up in heaven, she was a legend at Central High School, is toasting you right now with a bicchiere vino, a little glass of wine, Kathy. So
Now, Mayor
proud of you.
Sarno, when I saw you a couple of weeks ago, I told you I was a little nervous about this. Now you're going to bring me to tears.
No.
But before I begin, I just kind of want to, Monica Kozlowski, who won the New Teacher Award, couldn't be there tonight, and I am here on Zoom, but super proud of this young lady. She is the heart of a teacher. So thank you. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there to get her award, but we'll get it.
Thank you.
Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, look at the mask. Yeah.
So good evening, Mayor Sarno, Superintendent Warwick, and elected school committee members. First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to highlight Homer Street School and the success we had in the 21-22 school year. Our work as school leaders is not done alone. It is not done behind closed doors, and it requires a village. And I must say that I have one of the strongest villages that I am proud to be part of their work. Our village worked collectively through the school year to build relationships with students and families. And this was the foundation that continues to be, that drives our success. The motto that we live and breathe on day to day is being displayed. Last year, take a look at our enrollment at Homer. We were about 411 students. We're up to 422 currently. And for us to make a difference in a child's academic life, attendance is a key component to ensure that all children are accessing the curriculum on a day-to-day basis. Again, this requires a team, including myself knocking on doors if I have to. Attendance is something that we take seriously, and we follow all SPS protocols so that students can thrive and reach their academic potential. Here, I have a video that during August PD, before we left to do our summer work and get ready, we took some time to kind of capture how to capture the students involved, right? So I want to inspire, for August PD, I want to inspire my teachers and remind them of what our goal is. The heart of an educator is unique, and my goal was, and will continue to be, is to remind them of the importance of of their role in a child's life. Some of our days, as you know, can be extremely challenging, but as long as we show these children we care about them and that we are invested in them, they will thrive in their academic journey. Keeping in mind the district's goal of a portrait of graduate, we wanted to correlate that with the relationship building and the importance of that, and ignite and spark our teachers for the upcoming school year. So if you don't mind, I'd just like to share this little video with you. At the end, it gets a little glitchy. I'm not technology savvy, I own it. But the words don't match the student, but just bear with it. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's the bench right in front.
That's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Sing a song. Today I'm glad I just thank you for caring about me.
No, that's
Because of you, I can win. Because you care, show me I'm a person, and love me. I'm excited to. Because of you, I can communicate. You taught me how to be a good listener and a great talker. This place is a safe place where I can be comfortable talking inside.
very good. Very good.
Because of you, I can persist, and persist means never give up on a challenge. For example, if I have a really hard math problem, I would keep trying, and never give up, even though that it's really hard. Because of you, my teacher, you always never give up on me, and I will never give up on the math problem. Thank you for helping me, and I thank you for that.
Very good.
Because of you, I can start this school community shows me all the love and care, and I can show that love and care. You taught me to the people around me. Because of you, I can lead. You show care to the class. You're there to help me solve a problem when I need it. You learn who I am. And because of you, I can lead just like you. Because of you, I can work. Because when I grow up, I'm gonna be a firefighter, and with your help, I can.
Okay. All right. You're tearing up, Kathy. I can see it already.
Are they not beautiful?
Yeah.
They're just so beautiful. Okay. Hold on, I got speech. There we go. So I want to introduce to you a young lady that was new to me last year. She was a high level 3 EL learner. Her name is Hadisha. And during April, we did poetry. We focused on poetry. And they had some parameters, but this young lady created a poem that exemplifies what our school is all about. And it now hangs in our hallways because I just so proud of this young lady. So it says, all are welcome. It is fun. It is a friendly place to go. Sometimes in the morning, you may feel, hold on, can you? Yeah, hold on. Okay. Sometimes in the morning, you may feel sad, mad, happy, or excited. You should know someone in your school will care about you and never forget you. Sometimes there might be a problem you may face, and you think you cannot solve it, like speaking a different language or having a different skin color. Know that Homer Street will solve it all. You are in a place that is like home, a place that is like family, and if you feel confident, you can make friends. Just be you. Believe in your hometown that you come from. Believe because Homer Street is your family and your hometown.
Very good.
That was just that just captured everything for me. And she's just an absolute pleasure, and she's thriving every day. So part of our success is the development of our school improvement plan, priority 1, which focused on grade level instruction. This priority ensures that all educators participating in PD, PLC, common planning time, learning walks, and reflecting on feedback, both formal and informal. Through this priority, it has led all staff to consistently deliver high quality instruction, which ensures that our students are engaged, held accountable, and are willing to take academic challenges. Our second priority focused on a culturally responsive, grade appropriate instruction. My team and I continually collaborate around the importance of ensuring that our school community is a place where all our students feel valued, affirmed as learners, and as unique individuals. So some of the obstacles that we faced last school year was teacher attendance and student attendance, because COVID was still a real thing. So we had to take some time to really kind of focus on rebuilding all of that. Rebuilding our PTO and student and family relationship. This was not done by one individual, but by the whole school community. It took time, it took patience, and most importantly, consistent follow through. Each obstacle was chosen to be looked at as an opportunity to enhance what we already have in place, as opposed to a roadblock or a barrier. And I think COVID and remote learning really kind of forced us to look at obstacles in a different way. An example of this is ensuring that when an educator was absent due to being sick with COVID, I strategically place strong individuals in the classroom, because as my CSO always reminds me, is that I never take my thumb off that pulse. Some of the other things that we had to really kind of rebuild was the organization of my PTO. It kind of fell apart with COVID. We used the student assistant team, and we cycle through those stat meetings continuously and provide purposeful intervention. Professional development that is targeted to meet the needs of our students based on consistent analyzation of data. Infused in PD throughout the year is team building exercises, which my hope is that teachers take those team building exercises and bring them into the classroom, because again, my biggest thing is to build a relationship with students and families. PLCs focused on that data, right? And make those high leverage instructional moves to provide the students with the necessary tiered instruction that they need. Collaborative and common planning time is put in place. We also have a tutoring program that we offer to students on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:30 to 5. So that all helped with the success that we had last year. Second steps, social emotional safety net that we have in place, PBIS, and our spirit days. And we've connected our spirit days to a monthly culture. So those activities we build in the culture so that the kids can not just have fun, but they're also learning. My attendance team, and this includes my district liaison that I have, my leadership team that I don't know what I'd do without, the collaboration between that counselor and City Connects coordinator. We've done Science Olympic Week. We've got a student council that just is awesome, and they've done fabulous, fabulous things. After school book club and an after school fitness club. So in addition, I need to recognize some partnerships that we have established here at 43 Homer Street School. First, I want to thank AIC for being such great neighbors as always, and they're always willing to give me a helping hand with community events. Previous Principal Kathleen Sullivan had established a great relationship with Mike Belize through links to libraries. As a result of that relationship, Mike continuously gave us winter coats to the students at Homer, and I have been blessed to continue his legacy alongside his niece, Alex Belize. In addition, Joe Waltz and Jeff Evans, who are very fond of Mike, wanted to continue to honor his work, so they have also given an outpouring support to Homer Street School. One of my personal goals when I became principal was to connect on a deeper level with families. I strive every day to strengthen that relationship. And one of the biggest pleasures I've had is that just recently, before April break, I had a middle school family come back just to check in and wanted to say hi, update me on their daughter's progress. And that's just the best thing. So rewarding. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes. As previously showcased in my presentation, it's those factors and contributions that led to the positive results. If you take a look at our ELA scaled score, it was 491.5. Got it up to 492, so we met that target. Math, 481.7, 491. Science, 487.1, we got it up to 488. That student growth, our target was 50, we got it up to 56. Math, our student growth was, our target was 50, we got it up to 61. Student with disabilities, 476.2 for ELA, we got it up to 485. Math, 471.9 to 487. Skills score for the EL learners, 485.6 to 490. 477.3 for math, up to 494. So definitely a celebration. Where was our strength? In ELA grade 3, it was interpret the meaning of a phrase in a passage. Grade 4, it was identifying the feelings of a character described in a story. And for grade 5, comparing information from a passage and an article about similar topics. In math, grade 3 was numbers and operation fractions. Grade 4, numbers and operations base 10. And grade 5 was geometry. In grade 5, it was for science was a big strength was just about the food, how food contains the energy and nutrients that animals need to survive. So we at Homer are super excited to have a new home, but I guarantee you, and this is a promise, our roots will remain the same. So before I end tonight, I want to acknowledge some folks for helping me along the way. First and foremost, the dedicated staff that I work side by side with day in and day out. Superintendent Warwick, for all your support and belief in me to help prepare SPS students in becoming lifelong learners. And lastly, CSO Milner, for always providing me with guidance, support, and inspiration, to always keeping my thumb on the pulse. So that's Homer in a nutshell.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Principal Roberts. I don't know if school committee members have any questions or comments on your presentation.
Sure.
Mr. Collins?
Earlier this evening, we had the Teachers of Excellence, Kathy, and as you noted, unfortunately, your teacher, who was a first-year teacher, wasn't able to attend, and we know you couldn't because you had to be here for what you're doing. And we all talked about the teachers, and we said that nothing matters more than good teachers, and we know that, and that good teachers will match our teachers against any teachers anywhere around the country. But also important for a school is a leader that allows the teachers to flourish and grow and allows the teachers to be able to embrace those children. And our children come with challenges that certainly exceed their peers in other cities around this Commonwealth. And certainly you are in a building that has more challenges than almost any building in the city, but it just proves that it's not the building in which you're housed, it is the people within that building that make a difference in children's lives. And Kathy, thank you for creating the atmosphere that has made such a big difference in the lives of our children. Thank you.
Well put, Mr. Collins. Any other school committee members? Ms. Gresham.
I just want to say thank you for your leadership, and we can't wait to walk in that new building. The students are going to be excited, the teachers are going to be excited, and I'm excited from day one. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other questions or comments?
I would like to make a comment. Just want to thank you for everything that you're doing over there, and especially want to thank you for all that you're doing with my niece. And she is so happy about school. She's so excited about school every day. She's always excited to share what she learned. When we have church, she gets up and testifies about what she accomplished in school that day. And so it's really having an impact on our children. And so I just thank you on behalf of her and her family, but also on behalf of all of our students that are blessed to have you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Naylor. Any other questions or comments? See, Principal Roberts, that wasn't that difficult there. I think you and George Johnson are the same way. You don't want to...
Exactly. You were saying that, and I'm like, I'm the same way.
Yeah, but as we said, Mr. Collins indicated about the award-winning teachers, but you have to have a good leader. And when you have a good leader, everything falls into place, and you are a good leader, and you inspire too. So thank you to you and your team. And if there's no other comments, Kathy, you're off the hook. Yes, Vice Chair Naylor, you're on the hook again.
If it's okay, I want to share a quote that I read recently. And the quote is, "Humility is the grace that gives more grace."
That's right.
And, you know, when you talk about the humility of both of our principals on tonight, the culture of their school is really, it exudes the humility that they carry. And it allows for folks to grow and flourish, but it also allows for folks to know and be confident in who they are, that their principals aren't there to steal the show from them, that they really want to stand with them and support them and encourage them. And so it makes for a better atmosphere for everybody. So I wanted to share that quote. I thought it was a really good quote for today.
Love that.
And with that, Principal Roberts, I do believe you're off the hook. And as your mom, I would say, buonasera, okay? All right, Kath, great work, you and your
Kathy,
team.
you're becoming a legend just like your mom, Dolores. Yeah.
Thank you very much, school committee members. We'll now move to reports of standing committees. A is the student relation parent concerns. Ms. Gresham?
No report, Mr. Mayor, but I would like to make a comment.
Yes,
if I may.
yeah.
I'd just like for the public to know that all of our subcommittee meetings are publicly posted with the agenda.
That's right.
The date, the time, and the place, giving them an opportunity, everyone and anyone, an opportunity to attend our subcommittee meetings. We have not and will not exclude anyone that want to come to a subcommittee meeting. I just want the public to know that these meetings are posted, and everyone and anyone has the opportunity to be a part of them, of our subcommittee meetings. I just want to make that clear.
No, thank you, Ms. Gresham, and I know you, following the proper venue and protocol on our students' mental health, and we respond to them that you appropriately called that meeting.
Yes.
And everyone, you know, is welcome to that meeting. And I think in our packet, or just today, the multitude of mental health assistance that we do give out there. We always strive to do more, don't get me wrong, but I know we had a meeting yesterday, but the public meeting was called.
Yes.
Open to any and all, and I know I responded in the email that you were going to do that, and they received that. So thank you for doing that, number one, and glad that you clarified that. Also, I think many school committee members say it too. You might see us vote on something in 2 seconds. A lot of the hard work to the subcommittee chairs, they put in hours and hours of work, 2 or 3 hours at a time with those meetings, and that's where everything gets done. But I'm glad you clarified that, Ms. Gresham.
Thank
Any questions or comments on Mr. Gresham's report? Okay, hearing none. Building and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Collins?
No real report, other than we keep getting notice from the state that our projects are moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic with the Mass School Building Authority. We just have a great relationship, and we're going to keep building. We're going to keep rehabbing, and we're going to keep building. Let's get to that $1 billion mark. We're at $750 million now. Any questions or comments, Mr. Collins' report? C is Legislative Contracts Committee, Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Legislative and Contracts Subcommittee did meet in conjunction with Ms. Gresham's committee, the Safety Committee, this week to address a couple of matters. And for the knowledge of the full committee, I'm just going to name what those items were. The two-way radio communication as it directly related to Mass General Law, subject to appropriation, which the Commonwealth has not appropriated dollars, but I do want to acknowledge that the superintendent and the safety and security team have been extremely receptive to having discussions, hopefully getting to the point where we can implement policy that mirrors Mass General Law as it relates to two-way radio communication. As a context for that particular item, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has as a regulatory best practice resilience and redundancy in communications help to ensure the uninterrupted flow of information. I say that to acknowledge that we have several systems in place that do a wonderful job when it comes to communication in critical incidents that we went over in subcommittee, and the two-way radio communication would be resilience and redundancy as it relates to communication in a critical incident. Then the third item that we reviewed was the frequently asked questions as it related to the MOU between SPS and the Springfield Police Department that we wanted to get out to demystify a lot of the misinformation that was out there as it related to our cameras and safety in the schools. So for example, as we're live here this evening, there are no cameras in classrooms, in bathrooms, and it's not being monitored 24/7 at the police station. And Attorney Phelps, you can jump in if I ever misspeak as I give a brief overview here. And again, it's only accessed, by and when civilian personnel at the police department. So I say that because folks have called, sent letters, blasted emails to everybody on the committee here with a lot of misinformation. So that's out and posted on the website. The third item was the Student Advisory Committee. That was another matter as it related to Mass General Law. This is another item that the superintendent and his team have been receptive to revamping. It's been in place individually in schools and started to revamp and take a look at it. Unfortunately, I know that we couldn't address this particular item during our joint committee. I know that Mr. Collins had another commitment that evening that he excused himself for, but we're going to be bringing this one back. And that is all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, and I really appreciate you and Ms. Gresham calling that joint meeting on the public safety aspect. Knock on wood, we are ahead of the curve. There's been tremendous tragedies across the nation pertaining to schools, and you can see now that even Boston and Worcester have now rethinking about their safety procedures. Parents now saying that they want structured pertaining to and trained pertaining to the police department, but we've hardened our targets. The technology we put in there is tremendous. God forbid, but we've been able to, and I don't want to avoid those tragedies that have occurred in other districts across the country. But I really appreciate Mr. Gonzalez and Ms. Gresham for holding that meeting, and we always strive to do better, but putting out the facts. I mean, the old adage, you know, people can have, you can have an opinion, but you know, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not, you know, entitled to, if the facts are the facts on that. So thank you for doing that. Any other questions or comments pertaining to Mr. Gonzalez's report? Okay, hearing none, move to D, Curriculum Programs Committee. Ms. Hurst is absent. E is Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Collins.
We are getting close to the end. You will be receiving the proposed budget in your emails. If you haven't, did you get it yet? If not, you'll be getting it in the next day or so. It'll be publicized for the public to view. And then in another week, we'll be getting together for a meeting to recommend it to the full committee.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, Mr. Collins? And I just wanted to say budget, because we had the public budget comment yesterday, and there was comments made pertaining to Putnam and Central, and I know we got paperwork. They were saying there's 13 counselors at Central High School, and there's 11 at Putnam Vocational Technical Academy. It was bandied about yesterday. Again, facts, and that there was one or two or three in the respected schools. So we wanted to hear from the public, and that's fine. They care and they're emotional, but you know, that package of information, I know Azell had put something out on it just to clarify that those were not the correct numbers there pertaining to counseling and helping out our student body. Any other questions or comments pertaining to Mr. Collins' report? Okay, Vocational Education Committee, Attorney Murphy, Peter?
Thank you, Mayor. Just that we had our Chapter 74 meeting, which was great at Putnam, and as everyone has indicated, Putnam is doing a fantastic job, and Mr. Johnson and Mr. Alves and his team, and then we had Mr. Johnson here tonight, so just great to see what's going on at Putnam.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy. Any questions or comments pertaining to Attorney Murphy's report? Okay, hearing none, Technology Committee, Vice Chair, Ms. Monroe Naylor.
No report at this time.
Thank you, Vice Chair. H is School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We was a joint committee with Mr. Gonzalez, and it was an informational one. They gave us an update on the alarm doors, exterior doors, and also practices with active shooter in the building.
Yep.
And procedures with that. So we will continue to have these school building safety update meetings.
Again, I appreciate Ms. Gresham and Mr. Gonzalez for doing that. Any questions or comments pertaining to Ms. Gresham's report? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to I, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Again, Ms. Hurst is absent. Student representative, the school committee, and if Charles Cope from Central High School, he's the last piece of the trifecta. We had 3 representatives from Central High School. Charles, Mr. Cope, I don't know if you're on, but if you are, we'd love to hear from you if you have any comments to make. I know it's been a long day or evening, so you might have gotten off, but Mr. Cope?
I'm here.
Okay, Charles. Thank you for serving. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So the floor is yours.
All right. So, hi, I'm Charles Cope. I'm a senior from Springfield Central High School. I participate in the student government here at Central, and I talked to some of my peers about some of the concerns they have about school. And I'm sure one we've heard plenty about is some products that should be provided by the schools, such as period products or birth control and deodorant for gym students. Also mental health help.
Yeah.
Different types of ways to get it out to students on how to deal with their mental health. Also, counselors being more equipped for students, consulting in them for sexual assault. I heard that from one of my peers. I think that is a good idea because it's a touchy subject. And also, I heard earlier something about students being talked to earlier, maybe in middle school, about their futures and their careers. And I think that that's a good idea. I think that it should be approached well because they are still young. But I think that it's better to talk to them earlier because I know I think that I would have done better if I knew more things about my future, because I'm, of course, still right now, like I feel very undecided. And also talking to students about which classes help with which majors, such as like if you want to major in, some things are obvious, like if you want to major in film, you might want to do theater or video production, but I think stuff like that helps because like not a lot of people know that calc can help you with engineering. So I think things like that should be more talked about.
Nice job, Mr. Cope. Charles, good job. School Committeeman Gonzalez has a question or comment. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome, Charles Cope. We're glad to have you. I just have a question for you, Charles. Who nominated you as the student rep to the school committee?
I volunteered through my student government.
Oh, great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments, Mr. Cope? Charles?
I do. I have a question.
Vice Chair Naylor, please.
And a comment. First, thank you so much for your report. It was very, very thoughtful and detailed. And you are doing exactly what we would love for our student reps to do, in that you are talking to your peers and trying to assess what is their state of concern in the building. And so we thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. I also would just encourage you to, as you talk to your peers about their concerns, like if they have any prospective resolutions or solutions for the different concerns that they have, that they share that as well. Because I think young people are very creative, and there's a lot of things that we as older folks didn't do or didn't have when we were younger, and technology that is available to y'all that was not available to us. And so we're very open to not only knowing what your concerns are, but also if you have any thoughts as to how we can have conversations around resolving some of those concerns. And I also have a question for the superintendent and Mr. Mayor. Now that we're going to have folks in person, will our student rep be able to also come in person?
I'd love to have it, yeah.
Absolutely.
If Mr. Cope, we'd love to
We'd
have
open it up to them and see what they can do, whether it, sometimes they have trouble getting down here, but we'd love to have them here. We have our seat waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I thought
right.
he did a
There's
great
seat-
job tonight.
There's a seat waiting for you, Mr. Cope, Charles, and you did do a very good job. You came very prepared, and not only spoke from your mind, but you spoke from your heart. And as Vice Chair Naylor indicated, we want to hear your concerns, and whether accolades or constructive criticism, and maybe some ideas that could jog our memories from Etch-a-Sketches to high technology now. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and Chairman and Vice Chairwoman Naylor, I just want to comment if it would be considered by either you, Mr. Mayor, as the chair, or Vice Chairwoman Naylor, if we could think about moving the student representative item on the agenda, if we could move it up on the agenda.
No problem on that. I think we should do that. We could move it up, take it out, take it away from the tail end here, and move it up where it can fit right in.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Not that it doesn't here, but it is, you're right, it is at the tail end, so, and I think that'll be helpful to the student, too.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, my comment
Mr.
was
Con-
going to be to invite Charles. You're more than welcome to join us, Charles, although nobody could have given a better report than you did,
Yeah.
even virtually.
Yeah.
But clearly, he listened very carefully to the whole meeting, because his comments, while he may have had prepared remarks, his comments reflected that he knew what was going on in the meeting.
Yeah.
So very attentive to what's going on. And you're more than welcome to join us, or if it's easier for you to stay virtual, I'm sure your reports will continue to be just as good as they were.
Whatever's most convenient for you, Charles. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Charles. We'll now move to a report of the superintendent. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Some items of good news. You have a piece in your packet of the article that was in the paper relative to Putnam winning the Gould Award, which I talked about earlier. This is given by the AIM Business Alliance in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, recognizing Putnam and Worcester Tech for their wonderful turnarounds in the school and their outstanding performance. And the business community really understands the value of vocational education. So they really appreciated that great work, and a well-deserved congratulations to, again, George Johnson and his wonderful team at Putnam. You know, I think an illustration of the great job Putnam does is our police officer who's here tonight, who's a proud graduate of Putnam, Steve Tatro.
That's right,
And,
Steve.
you know, it's a testimony of their great work. We also have another article in there about Liz Mickens, one of our graduating seniors from Renaissance, accepted at Amherst, Smith, UMass, and a whole group of high-level colleges. Straight A average, 4.5 GPA, many scholarships and awards, almost too much to count, but they're all in the article. And another nice piece is the parents are both teachers in Springfield Public Schools.
Great family.
So that's always nice to see. So when people say you can't do it in Springfield, this young lady certainly is dispelling that myth. Another one that was near and dear to my heart, and I know is to other people, is ECHOS is over 50 years old now. So, you know, they're going to have a program over at ECHOS, and we'll make sure the school committee's invited. We've talked about this at the Cliff Faniff Environmental Center, which is, we remember Cliff, and some of us worked with Cliff, and just did a great job establishing this program, unique to Springfield, founded in 1970, and really bringing environmental science to life for our students across the entire city and for so many years. I know this is near and dear to Chris's heart because he was the coordinator over there and worked directly with Cliff, and just a great program, but just a really great article.
That program was started with federal funding, ESA, Title III money. Same time as Earth Day started, our program is the only remaining program that started under that federal funding. And it shows commitment to this body for believing in it all these years. And it makes a big difference in the lives of children.
You know, I'll commend the school committee because during some tough years where things were getting cut, sometimes ECHOS was recommended, but the school committee always stood up and said, no, too important. You're going to have to cut something else. So it really is a credit to the school committee what they've done with ECHOS.
You know, I remember going to that program from White Street School when my kids went from Harris, and the spin-off effects, pardon the pun, of that devastating tornado of June 1st, 2011. We did a master plan not only for the third of the city that was devastated, but for the whole city, and we were able to spin off money to completely redo that center, and it is absolutely fantastic. And when you look at with the lake there and that center, you almost feel like you're in the wintertime. You feel like you might be like in a Colorado ski area. Not that I ski or anything like that. And what's being learned there, and it's open to the community and the students. That was a great article that was done, and what they learn about the environment and respecting it. So I'm sure Mr. Faniff looks down from heaven very, very happy. And I know, Chris, you go back to the original days, and I know Danny too, and the dedicated staff there too.
The building, you know, it was so great for you to find money within those tornado funds. That building was constructed by the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, in 1936.
That's right, under President Roosevelt during the Depression.
Yeah.
That's right. 1936.
1936.
Putting people to work. That's right. That's right. But it's really a gem. It's really.
But it's just in fabulous shape now. So what a treasure for our kids, but the entire community. Really tremendous. Another piece, your contracts report is in the packet. If you have any questions, Pat or I would be available for you. I have a piece that I sent out today relative to the counseling, staffing, and other supports we provide in the schools, just to be clear about what really is out there. And in response, we're always happy to accept feedback and always want to hear from our kids and get feedback and look to improve. So we were glad to hear the feedback, but it's also important to, you know, actually base it on facts. So we have the counseling staff in all the schools, and also all the agencies. We have a lot of community agencies, 24 or 25, that actually come into the schools to provide clinical services. So there's a whole lot going on, and there's still more we want to do. So we're always happy to hear feedback, but it's always important to also have the facts. So that information went out to you for your information. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick.
One
Any
additional
questions?
thing on Echoes,
Mr. Collins?
Mr. Mayor, that I'd be remiss if I didn't say. That's where I met my wife.
Oh.
And she has been a very tolerant woman, and as we approach 50 years in 24. So.
That's funny.
I could see it already, the screenplay, the movie took place at Echoes. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any questions, Superintendent Warwick's report?
Mayor, could I just say one?
Yes.
I would just also like to thank Officer Steve Tatro, who's an old friend of mine. I know he wants to get out of here, but I just really, appreciate your service to the city, Steve, and thank you for protecting us and being here. And we look forward to your retirement, which is coming up soon.
Steve, I know you love when we're giving you accolades, as we did last week too on it, but congratulations. Thank you again for your brave and dedicated service to all in our community, and for being our overseer here at the school committee meetings. You really become part of it. You really become part of it. So, congratulations again. Any other questions or comments pertaining to Superintendent Warwick's report?
I have a clarifying question.
Yes.
I wanted to know if we can get a, what am I looking for? I'm trying to think of the name of it, but basically some type of overview, that position description, that's what I'm thinking of the difference between the guidance counselor and the adjustment counselor. I know that was one of the points of concern that I've heard.
Great question.
Yeah.
That came up. And we have two different types of counselors, and now there's a third licensure. The movement is away from the separation of the duties, and it's now the new licensure that's coming out of school counselor. So all counselors counsel kids. All counselors counsel kids in the school. School adjustment counselors have a little more training in mental health, but all counselors have training in counseling and mental health. And when you talk to our principals, all of our counselors are counseling kids, because if not, they'd be leaning towards just hiring school adjustment counselors. So all of our counselors get training in all the different areas, and Dr. Johnson does a good job with that. And they provide counseling for all of our kids.
If I can piggyback on.
But we can get you that.
Thank you.
If you're done, Vice Chair, Ms. Gresham?
With City Connect, are they counselors?
So City Connects are trained people. Many of them are counseling license. They all have psychology license. And their job is writing the plans that put together wraparound services for students. But they provide counseling also, but they connect students to BHN, the other clinical services agencies, and they provide trained therapists that actually come in and provide those therapeutic services for our kids. So it's a routing position, putting a whole wraparound plan in place for our kids, and we have that in every school. That's why you see so many clinics working in all of our schools, and you saw 24 clinics that we work with on the list. So they're all part of the counseling division. Yeah.
But they're not counselors, they're not social work.
Many of them are trained counselors and social workers, and they all have advanced degrees in psychology.
Can we get their resume or
No, you couldn't get the
not
individual
the resume.
resumes, but we can give you, I know what you're
Job
looking for. You're looking for the
description.
job
Job
description.
description. Yes, job
Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. We'll get you the job descriptions for all three.
Yes.
Be glad to do that.
And then, as Vice Chair Naylor had mentioned with Charles Cope, Mr. Cope from Central, we formed that Mental Health Youth Coalition. And that works out of a lot of our community centers, MLK, South End Community Centers, others. And they work at Helen Carlton Harris and health professionals and BHN. And they sort of run that show. And you get their perspective. And as many said, when we were growing up, when you were a kid, the grandmother who I spoke to last night, you're right, man, they say, what do you have to worry about? You're a young kid, you have nothing to worry about. And to take that stigma away about, it's just not an attitude, you need to pay attention to it. So that, and the community music school, others are involved, but it's all run by the youth with professional backup of BHN and Commissioner Helen Colton Harris and all the other health groups there. And they do a lot of, they have an event coming up sometime, I believe sometime in May. May 6th. Azelle, you're involved in that too, May 6th on it. And it really incorporates the young people, so.
Can I ask
Sure.
another question, Mr. Mayor? I think one of the other issues is around transportation, and that's a whole conversation for another day, because I know there's complexities around that. But I think a suggestion that we should entertain is that not only having the Youth Coalition in the programs and the after-school programs, but also having clubs at the schools. And is there some way, and I would imagine there is, something that the Public Health Institute might be interested in, to do those collaborations with our schools so that kids who don't have the transportation to get to those sites for whatever reason, that they could still have access to that environment that's created in those safe spaces. The students that are involved in those clubs at the after-school programs absolutely love it, and they will speak very highly of it, and have done so. But I think that any way that we can think about those bridges or areas that we can absolutely create bridges for our students to be able to access those services. And it wouldn't cost us a lot of money to do that, you know, but that to me would be a nice way to bring about a connection so that our students can all have access, not just the ones who are fortunate enough to have the transportation to get there.
Right, no, that's so important. We've been working hard. We have late buses for all our middle schools so kids can participate. But we give out PVTA passes to our high school kids. So if they're involved in a club after school or sports or anything else, they have a way to use PVTA to get home and can do all the transfers needed to get home. So important.
Right, Mr. Superintendent, I understand that aspect of it from the school, but what I'm saying is that if we're only hosting these mental health coalitions at the after-school programs that are in the community, then the students would have to get there to participate,
They can
right?
get there and use the PVTA pass for that too, I believe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that there's some.
I think we can work on that.
Yeah, I think that just thinking about it, but my whole thought was if we could save them even having to leave the building, and it could be at the building. So
We can
used
always
to-
host them at the
Yeah.
building. Oh, no
We
question
talked
about
about
it.
bringing
We can
things.
do both.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
And we had, in the numerous meetings I had with ARPA, the neighborhood councils, the nonprofits, the businesses, and transportation was the biggest thing. And there was a lot of community centers now working together to share it, and they were trying to work on a master plan, even with the PVTA, where so young people could traverse and get back and forth on. But that is a major issue across the country when it comes to, because we funneled in millions and millions of dollars to keep programs going, but the transportation, and some have vans services, some bus services, but that's but we spoke earlier about now the COVID moving forward, maybe bringing back some of those programs right directly into the school.
Well, it's always better if you can have them at the school,
Because they're there.
because you're not
Right.
dealing with a transportation issue. But I think we can make arrangements to do both.
I think so, and I know that
And I
there's
think we have
apps.
some at the schools already, but we're always open to it, and certainly would want to do that.
Absolutely, and I do want to acknowledge that there is an app where folks can access to learn about the routes and things like that to ride the PVTA, but having something at the schools where students are taught that as well.
I just think that's fabulous. Yeah. And
Just
we're
any way
always-
to mitigate. I'm always thinking of,
Yeah.
you know, if folks are having accessibility issues, then, you know, there's certain things that I think we can do to get some of those challenges out the way, then we should absolutely do it. And some of them don't cost a lot of money for us to do that.
And we're going to continue like with Director Pat Sullivan. Once again, we like to open the gyms and keep programs, evening programs going also too, with the superintendent and with an educational component too. And a lot of the community centers are doing that now too. They're open later. There's like an educational component also with it.
Absolutely.
Met with the principals today, and they're absolutely committed to do that.
Mr. Mayor, just on the, back on the City Connects, Mr. Warwick gave us now, and unfortunately, and I know you didn't intend to, your description made it sound like almost clerical. Where in the day-to-day operations within a building, they have direct contact constantly with students.
All day.
And become another trusted adult. And sometimes the most trusted adult that kids turn to in the school setting, especially in our elementary schools. They are another trusted adult that they feel very close to and approach.
And set up an array of services for kids, so many kids are getting professional counseling through agencies and with access right up to the psychiatrists in the agencies because of the plans the City Connects people put in place. So it's not only their direct work with kids, it's connecting them to other agencies that can provide the specialized support. And that's going on in every school.
And that, with the City Connects and the liaison, family liaison, I know for a fact firsthand, with food, clothes, housing, transportation, at times, furniture. So, they go above and beyond working with the family, the liaisons also on it. And for those students and families that are in need or have gone through a challenging situation. Good discussion. Any other questions or comments pertaining to Superintendent Warwick's report? Okay, hearing none, we'll now move to unfinished business. Hearing none, we'll now move to new business.
I have one thing.
Yeah, Ms. Naylor? Vice Chair Naylor, I'm sorry.
One quick thing, that we do have some training and other resources available for our student reps through MASC. And I wanted to make sure that we're sharing that information with the students, that our student reps, they have training and days on the Hill and things like that. I think next week is the day on the Hill, so it might be a little short notice. But I do want to make sure that we're sharing that kind of information with our student reps.
Could you get that to me?
Absolutely.
And again, that's the Mass Association of School Committees.
Yes.
Okay. If there's nothing else in new business, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, or second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Hurst, absent. Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
No, I think we should stay and keep notes.
One more thing.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Good evening, and thank you for watching. Good health.